Our meeting scheduled for August 16th, 2012. Can you please read the notice, please?
Adequate notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act by mailing the schedule of the Township Committee to the Express Times and North Star Ledger newspaper, posting a copy on the Township Bulletin Board, and filing a copy with the Township Clerk.
Can you please rise and join me in a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Perez?
Here.
Siegel? Here. Emiliani? Here. Valari?
Here.
Torriello?
Here. Before we begin tonight, I received some information that the Stefanik family, Dale and Jan, who have long residents of Greenwich Township, have 3 children. Regrettably, on August 14th, they lost their son, Tim, to congenital heart disease at the age of 24. And I just want to ask for a moment of silence while we think about their loss. Can I have a motion to open up for public comment?
Make a motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to make public comment on agenda items, please come up, state your name. Seeing no hands, is there a motion to close the initial public comment period?
Make a motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the monthly minutes for June 21st and July 19th? Let me separate them. I think we need to separate.
Yeah.
A motion to approve the monthly minutes for June 21st. A motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel? Yes. Emiliani? Abstain. Valari?
Yes.
Torriello?
Yes. And can I have a motion to approve the minutes for July 19th, 2012?
Motion.
I'll second that. Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel? Abstain. Emiliani? Abstain. Valari?
Abstain.
Torriello?
Yes. We don't have a... Elaine, you're abstaining.
Only 3 people.
Yeah, there were only 3 people at the meeting. You're abstaining because?
I didn't read them.
Oh. Okay.
So
Well,
if there were only 3 people at the meeting, then...
Oh, there's a quorum.
People authorized it.
it's a quorum. Okay. We're good. You're right. You're right.
Understood.
Thank you. So, that's right.
Oh, right.
I forgot. Can I have a motion to approve the monthly reports for the court and police?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel? Yes. Emiliani?
Yes.
Valari?
Yes.
Torriello?
Yes. Can I have a motion to approve the payment of bills and claims with the amendment of the withdrawal of 1 invoice for the repair of a windshield on a police vehicle?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel? Yes. Emiliani?
Yes.
Valari?
Yes.
Torriello?
Yes. Lorraine?
Oh, it's me.
It's you.
Sorry.
I told you we'd make up the time.
You go
Now
so
we're
fast.
right on schedule.
I finally prepared a cash receipts report for taxes.
Are we
sewer-
going? Because I can't hear anything.
Are you? That's a speaker
Is that on?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
If you want to, is that stuck to the table?
No.
Thanks. Is that better, Elaine? No.
Elaine?
Yeah.
She probably can't hear because the speaker is on the phone. They have to.
Oh, gosh. Presentation. I was just stand next to the phone, really?
I got it. Come on, Mike.
It's a pretty long course.
The engineer of it?
Yes. How'd you know?
You just fell into the company.
You're just breaking into
right
I've
now.
been around him too long, and now, of course I know.
Elaine, is that better?
Thank you.
Okay. I finally prepared a cash receipts report for each month with year-to-date totals And I gave that to Kim tonight, and it'll be in all of the committee's boxes. Elaine, I gave you a special one. I gave you
A
each.
special one, thank you.
Yes. I gave you each month
Excellent.
separated year to date, and everyone on the committee has a full January 1st through 8/16.
Okay, great.
I was hoping to get permission tonight from the governing body to send our tax collection clerk to the first class for tax collectors.
Yes.
While she's gone through a couple of admin seminars and picked up a lot just operating in the office, I think it would be very beneficial to the taxpayers if she had a little bit of the legalities for the state of New Jersey, because it's such a different beast than anything else in the world. I think it would be very beneficial for her to have that first class with just the generalities of it
I agree.
under her belt.
I agree. Especially now knowing that we've got the automated payment systems up and running. If there's something that she needs to speak to a bank about, especially now that they're all inputting, I'd rather her be sounding efficient
So I
than
do have a
grasping
question.
for words. So I
our,
think that that's a good suggestion.
our tax collector isn't handling those types of things?
The tax
Not
collector,
on the automation part, Tanya.
I'm not talking about the automation
Well, that's
part.
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the bank and the automation that's already been put in place for automatic payment. When she gets those phone calls, she needs to be able to sound like she knows what she's talking about the tax.
Is this the same
Not just the
classes that we paid
application.
for last year? Is this the same classes that we paid for
it's
already?
the first in the series
Of
of
the
three
series, so we paid for them already,
for another individual.
for another individual. That's
Who
correct.
doesn't work there anymore?
Well, that's correct,
Correct.
right?
Correct. So we need to have this person who is doing both the automation, which was never done before, and the existing account, and working well with the current tax collector to have her P's and Q's done and get herself acclimated to the format.
Why don't we have our current tax collector doing that work?
Excuse me?
Why don't we have our current tax collector doing that work?
You know that the current tax collector is semi-retired and does not do the automation part.
My interest in it really was to help our collections clerk when she's inputting all of the payments. If there's, say, an easier process, or if besides entering the payment, there should be a secondary, not so much an entry, but at least like a journalization that, not even with a lien, but with posting any kind of payment or taking any kind of payment, that the advice given to the taxpayer is not so much just the way our office operates, but within the legalities of the state of New Jersey.
Well, to be honest with you, I thought the hiring of the part-time individual had to do with financial administration, not tax collecting.
It's really the receipt of the payments, the posting the payments, the deposit preparation, but there's a lot of interaction with our taxpayers that
Which normally our tax collector would be handling that interaction.
In a lot of towns, that would be the case.
Any other comments?
I make a motion to authorize.
I'll second it. Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel?
No.
Miliani? Miliani?
Elaine.
I can't hear you wherever it was.
Kim's Roll taking call. the vote. Miliani?
Yes.
Flori?
Yes.
Torriello?
Yes.
Thank you.
And how much is that we're authorizing?
I don't know off the top of my head. I want to say maybe $600 to $1,000 just for the first class.
Yeah, I thought that was the number we talked about.
I haven't looked at a
I think it's
brochure.
1,000.
Okay. Elaine took a little bit of my excitement there.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's on my page too.
We got our first importing of an online payment today, and it was very exciting. I think maybe we'll frame that if Sherry doesn't mind. Make a copy and frame it. It's an incredibly easy process. The best thing about it is that we were running some numbers today, and Sherry had estimated that there were probably at least 1,000 of our taxpayers that are covered by the 6 largest banks that process the mortgage escrow payments.
Wonderful.
So out of the less than 2,000 taxes that we'd be receiving, at least 1,000 of them
would automatically go through this automated procedure because they're part of the bank's ACH payments.
That's great. That's
And then
great.
if say the less than 1,000 that are left, if we could get half of them to go through online banking, the big savings of time is that they come in, and when the person enters their payment, the taxpayer enters their payment online, it's pretty much putting it in a batch for us. So all we have to do is print and update. There's no data entry, there's no deposit preparation, there's no copying.
It saves a lot of time.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so exciting.
And the
It's a huge
interface
time
is
saver.
really easy. I mean, I was on it.
Yes.
Checked. It's very
It's
user
great.
friendly. It really is.
Yeah, it's
I
absolutely.
commend you and Sherry for getting that done.
Yes.
I know it's been something we've long awaited, but the powers that be now understand the criticalness of getting things done efficiently, and I thank you for that.
Yes,
You're
thank you
welcome.
both. It really
Yeah,
is.
thank
It's
you very
great.
much. I appreciate that, Wayne, that comment. Thank you.
It's really great for the residents. It really is. So thank you.
I only have two more things. One, I have actually made a little progress in the monthly reconciliations for some of the accounts, not all of them, but there is at least a little progress being made there. And I just wanted to report, I think there was a question on the way that we had taken care of the tax bills this year. Kim had asked, how could we really have saved money on that? And it worked out to about a 17% savings, which is only about $100 because it's not an expensive process. But in the past, the tax bill blanks were purchased. You have to buy a certain minimum, so we had not a significant amount, but several hundred of them left over that are still sitting downstairs. So we had to pay for those, we had to pay for the toner, the labor time to print them here on the copier, and instead we went and had Edmonds do it. Edmonds did it in 2 days. It was absolutely amazing. It was so fast. There was no downtime or additional labor time, and we didn't have to buy all the extra blanks.
How much did they charge us for that?
I don't know. I wrote a report up on it, but I wanted to print it out before I came in, and I didn't have that. But I can email that to you. That's no problem.
Actually, my recollection was when we were discussing this, I had asked you to check into the cost of having it done, and you said it was actually cheaper.
Yeah, it was.
Like $122.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird
So it's
odd
actually
amount
cheaper
like
to
that.
outsource it. like
Yeah,
that.
it wasn't a huge amount.
No.
Between $100 and $150 that we
They look
saved.
very nice. The tax
But
bills look.
yeah, and they
nice.
put them on the
Yeah.
yellow paper, so they really stand out. But it sounds better when you say 17% savings. So yeah, I'll go with that.
Another great job, thank you.
You're welcome. That was all that I had.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I guess we're up to the resolution. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, you just got moved the lane.
Thank you.
We're now on item 9, which is a resolution 2012-72. This is, I'm trying to think, I can't really read this by title. I'm trying to think how to explain it without reading the whole thing. It's to support the New Jersey Department of Transportation to establish a no passing zone on Route 57 in the vicinity of milepost 2.2 to milepost 2.4 for safety reasons. Okay.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was that again?
It's
No, I'm sorry.
yeah, sure.
Is it in? It's in here.
It is. It's in tab 2, the first one. It's a resolution 2012-72. In essence, where what I'm asking for is a resolution from the governing body to show support to the New Jersey Department of Transportation in their efforts to establish a no passing zone on Route 57.
When, you have an idea where that is?
My estimate is when you come up Rickline Road, why don't you know exactly where it
Which I
is?
did. This is the first time I'm seeing this, and I'm like.
I'm thinking
killing
it's
myself
probably
trying
like
to
in
figure out
front of
where
like
exactly this is.
Mile.
It's got to be.
in front of the nursery,
It's
right?
got to be A, an area in Greenwich, and B, it's right. I'm assuming this is in Greenwich Township, section
Closer to
57
the ice cream place.
And B, it's got to be an existing passing zone. The only section of 57 in Greenwich that has a passing zone is the very east end, as you kind of enter Franklin.
Right. That's what I said. Before you said in front of the nursery. In front of the nursery.
Yeah, the ice cream place, Sunshine Tree.
Sunset Tree.
That's
right.
right. That's right.
It's got to be in that vicinity.
Not the right mile markers.
So who
No.
asked for this?
3 mile markers
I
up
thought-
at
who asked for it?
east of Rick
The
Line
state
Road,
DOT.
going
Okay.
that way.
So Rick Line left,
Yeah.
more in front of Marabella's
Yeah,
Pizza.
but that's 3 and goes up to 4 or 5 going towards Franklin.
Well,
Okay.
then,
That's
where's
down,
2.2, Joe?
that's gotta be down by the
Yes.
post office and down to
Oh,
that area.
that's where that, yeah, where you can't make the left out of the post office, they're probably trying to keep
That's
that.
a no
that
passing
blind
zone
spot.
now.
As far as,
No, it's not. There's a
There's
dotted
no,
line.
there's absolutely no dash line there. I mean, that would be crazy.
I thought there was a dotted.
Yeah, because the 3 mile marker's up just about, like you said, up there, just west of Rick Line Hill Road.
You, I assume you got this from
Probably.
I got
DOT?
this letter from the
3.4.
DOT. And Franklin Township passed a resolution of this at the end of last year. Washington Township has, and it's going from Phillipsburg all the way up to Washington, that the DOT needs this resolution of support because they're
I don't know why I
adjusting
keep going in and out, so I can't hear
the
a thing.
center line for the new passing zone. And they gave me mile marker 2.2 to 2.4. So that is what they're requesting.
Is there anybody on this committee that needs to know the specific location before they vote?
If it was the other way, I think you might want to wait. I mean, the other way, I mean, if they were recommending to go to a passing zone.
I agree.
The fact now is, you know,
I agree, I'm just asking if anybody, you know, feels strongly that they need, I agree with the rationale. To me, it doesn't matter, but
that
that's
would be a
me.
safety improvement,
Agreed.
wherever it may be.
So seeing no hands, we
Elaine
are,
has made the motion.
Elaine's made the motion, I'll second it. Roll call?
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Torriello?
Yes. Now we have this is tab 3, I think, a second reading of ordinance 2012-12, which is an ordinance providing funding for improvements to playground equipment and facility and appropriating $12,000 from the general capital fund balance. I'd like a motion to open up for public hearing.
Motion.
I'll second it. Roll call.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone wishing to be heard on ordinance 2012-12, please come up to the microphone. Seeing no hands, a motion to close public hearing.
Motion is
I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. And now can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2012-12?
Motion.
I'll second it. Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Torriello?
Yes. Okay. Our webmaster received inquiry about the township's intentions this year with regards to a 9/11 memorial. I believe it was from a Boy Scout troop. I don't have the email in front of me. I had a conversation with Kim, and she indicated to me that in the past, or last year, or the year before last, there was a discussion about whether or not the township committee should consider having an annual memorial, one every 5 years, one every 10 years. I mean, I understand, you know, there was a special 911 memorial in front of the emergency squad for the unveiling of the memorial there. And I think I wanted to place it on the agenda so we can have a discussion as to, the township committee's thoughts as to how we want to handle, this special day in our history. Thoughts?
I'm for having it every year.
You're for having it every year? I'm only repeating you so that Elaine can hear.
Yes.
At the municipal building or at the squad, at the memorial?
I think it should be at the memorial. Up until a point, there may come a day, and I hope not, but there may come a day where people feel that it's not something worthwhile coming out to anymore, because you know how things get as time passes by. But I think up until that point, I think we should continue to can't think of the right word, and I don't want to say celebrate, but we should honor those people on 9/11 that passed away on 9/11. So I'm for continuing to have the ceremony on 9/11, and it should be up at the memorial at the emergency squad.
Tom,
Yes?
you are the liaison, right? To the squad?
Yes?
Okay. I think you should be discussing it with them and the fire department.
Okay.
Because they can easily make the call with or without township committee approval, and we can move forward and just advertise.
That's fine.
So you're,
We do have the memorial there now,
Needs to
so-
be put into it as well, and they may have talked about it already, so just do that.
I'm just looking at it in the audience now. I know it's not public comment, but I see both the fire company and the emergency squad is represented here tonight. So
Make the
maybe,
talk.
maybe what we can do is, I don't think we need to have a
Right.
special meeting or anything, but,
You don't typically have to. It's what they, you know.
The squad has no problem hosting another memorial, that's not a problem. I didn't attend this last meeting, I don't know if they did discuss it this year, but the squad has no problem hosting it again.
I can't hear.
Elaine Garrett said the squad has no problem hosting,
Or they've already discussed it and it's okay, and the fire department is.
I think he's just commenting now. I'm sure they haven't had, it doesn't seem like you've had a formal discussion with your team, but at this juncture, he's saying he doesn't have a problem with it, but I'm sure we can get an answer. I mean, just put it out to your teams. If it's something that's really passionately supported, then we support, and I would support it.
I know residents from all over appreciate the fact that we have it and look forward to it anyway. So I would think that that's their fault.
that makes sense.
Put it to your teams and get back to me, and we'll support whatever you come back with.
I mean, and we can always make
Absolutely.
whatever arrangements. We don't need to,
Absolutely.
does
It's
it?
on the website.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You can get it and announced in the newspaper, and that's it.
Okay. Makes sense? We're in agreement? Okay.
Good.
Next item on the agenda is, it's listed as parking hazard. There were some resident complaints regarding parking on Main Street, over by, North Main Street, over by the old school.
Okay.
And I'm looking at Michael, because I think that this is probably something you would want to jump in on, or?
Absolutely. It was brought up in an email over the past couple of weeks from Kim, and we did a, I mean, I know the area in question. It's basically along North Main Street where Raina Way, which is the road the township accepted a few years ago off of the Raina farm, right next to the old school. When vehicles park right along Main Street and in cars exiting Raina Way onto Main Street, there's a sight distance obstruction at that intersection. So we looked at it and we came up with a recommendation, and then I got Brent in the loop, and Brent has actually drafted an ordinance,
Which is
for your consideration for
Yeah,
tonight.
to you.
That didn't make it, or did it?
Yeah, we have it.
Okay. Let me just explain what this ordinance is going to propose, or what the ordinance states after its adoption will then be enforceable by the police. Will be 2 no parking zones. One, and let's, instead of using north and south and east and west, let me just go left and right for everybody's benefit. If you're exiting Raina Way, your vehicle at, looking to make a left or right onto North Main. The old school's on your right. The section of North Main, basically between Raina Way and, coincidentally, works out nice, the first driveway opening, which is about 75 feet in length, we're depicting that as a no parking area. Now, in the other direction, which would be looking to the left or looking up to the north to the squad building, that's a little tougher and needs a little longer length to achieve the sight distance you need. that is 120 feet. So yeah, and basically it goes to the first utility pole. This, if anybody's driving by, they can kind of get their bearings of where these are going to be. So it's 120 feet on the left side of Rainaway and 75 feet on the right side of Rainaway. Those would be designated as no parking zones. They would be, the curb would be painted, and it would be enforceable by the police. So, I mean, it's pretty simple, and it should certainly allow a vehicle exiting Rainaway to have proper sight distance, making either a left or a right.
Based upon your
Right,
study.
we
Okay.
have a little.
Okay. Thank you. So I guess this would be a first reading, and I could read it by title only. So I need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and Dan will second the motion. So all those in favor?
Well, wait a minute.
I guess I should read it.
I'm sorry, yeah, it's a motion, ordinance number 2012-15.
Oh, okay.
Entitled an ordinance prohibiting parking from a point beginning 75 feet from the southerly sideline of Rainaway northerly for a distance of 225 feet situated on the west side of North Main Street.
Now with that title, Elaine, you make the motion?
Make the motion.
Daniel second it?
Yes.
Roll call?
Perez.
Yes.
Siegel.
Yes.
Miliani.
Yes.
Valari.
Yes.
Torriello.
Yes. Thank you, Michael, for that explanation. COA.
You can
Two.
skip one. Rumble strip.
Oh, yeah. Last month, we were following up on the discussion of rumble strips and the location, and for the last meeting or two, we talked about the need to provide a notice to the affected residents on South Main Street, Washington Street, and Dan, I understand you want your consideration for North Main Street
Yes.
as well. So we're talking about North Main Street, South Main Street, and Washington Street. The reason that we want to provide notices to the residents is we have received testimony, and the record has been made clear that these rumble strips will unquestionably cause noise. So the residents, we want to provide notice so the affected residents can come and tell us before we take action. You know, do they want this method employed to address speeding with the full disclosure and understanding that there's going to be noise, or will the potential for will the noise be a concern that they would ask this township committee not to employ rumble strips? We want those residents to have an opportunity to be heard. So at the last township meeting, I was authorized by the committee to prepare a letter that will go to those affected residents. The draft letter has been prepared. Brent our township attorney has reviewed it and offered some comments, one of which is for Michael to provide a very rudimentary sketch so that the residents can see where the location of the installation of the rumble strips will be, and then that will be inserted in the letter. So once we get that from Michael, we can insert that in the letter, and Kim can send them out. We can place it on the September agenda, and we will allow those residents to be heard, and then we can, as a committee, will be guided accordingly. So, do you need clarification? I mean, I know we talked about on South Main Street, in my mind, although we had someone raise a concern about horses. I don't remember who that was. There was Sue Fleming, right? So we had originally talked about around the bend, because it was away from the homes, but then Sue said, we've got the horses over there, that's going to affect the horses. So I don't know that we really came to a conclusion as to where to place it.
Where to place it? May I interject?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I stopped. I was...
There's two issues that came up as I was speaking with Brent and with you, Mr. Mayor, and I also spoke with Dan about this, as he was the one that brought it up originally. I think the locations we can work out. We've learned a few things about rumble strips, that they don't go across the whole road because you have to leave room for a bike lane. Fine. You need a pair of them, basically. You need them to be situated in advance of the areas where the speed reduction occurs, which makes sense because you want to alert a driver before you get to the 25-mile-an-hour zone. You don't want to do it in the 25 zone. Okay. The bigger question came up, well, with me anyway, was, all right, I can put them, in fact, we got a map. I brought the file. I have the map basically together. What's the radius or the distance from the rumble strip to the residents that we're going to notify? Are we going to just notify people that are immediately adjacent, or are we going to do everybody within 500 feet? Because that's two very different answers. And I don't know what the appropriate distance is, to be honest. I don't know if a property within 100 feet is about right, or it really should be a little more, because that's going to, well, the cost will be somewhat minimal. We're only talking postage for a few more people. That's not that big of a deal. But to develop the list,
I'd rather develop a larger list and for the lack of a better word, over notify.
all right. Well, then my recommendation would be this. And Dan, you've been out there and you did this noise check, if you will, with Chief Guzzo a few months ago up in Knowle. I was going to suggest 200 feet. And there's no science behind that, because I don't know if that, but 200 feet is the property owner's distance on an application, which has no bearing whatsoever on this matter.
But it's consistent with at least.
Yeah, there's some rationale you can draw from. Does that sound 200 feet?
Mark, is there any difference between the Brown ordinance, remember when we had the Brown engineer out on Route 173?
Yes, and I don't know.
And nighttime was much greater than daytime, and, you know.
Yeah, right, wow. Many months ago.
Personally, I don't think it's an issue. I think we know if we're talking about between the middle school and the blinking light, and the blinking light out to the emergency squad, and up the, we're having a discussion about 15, 20 homes. Let's just notify.
Anything else, so you have to be ready for that answer.
Yeah, let's just notify that full.
Oh, so everyone
I think so.
From
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, let's err on the side of caution, and let's just focus on where the strips are going to go. We get the letter together, get it out. It's really, I mean, we're talking about maybe an extra 30, 40 letters. It's really not.
So are we asking for their approval, or are we notifying them that we're putting them in?
We're notifying them that we're considering putting them in, and that we're setting aside, we're placing this on the agenda so that they can be heard. The letter doesn't say that we made a decision. We're just saying that it's an issue that's come up, and the letter expressly states that we've received testimony that there will be noise, and that the letter makes that clear. But some people may say, I'd rather live with the noise than the speeders, but I just think that, to be fair, they need to, it's, in order to make a decision, correct decision, they need to have the information. That's all. So, where are we? Are we just going to leave this to you to decide, to make a determination as to where they're going to be? You'll draw the map, and then when the map is given to me or given to Kim, it could go to Kim, she can insert that in a letter, and it can be sent out, right?
That was my thought. I was going to forge ahead with the map, and as always, I will email all you folks, and maybe, oh geez. Excuse me.
I mean, it's an engineering decision. It's not. I mean, so it should be your call as to where you think that the.
And if anybody before Kim actually stuffs the letters and sends them out. You guys should, if you have a, question like why here or
Sure.
whatever, then you can,
Okay.
email exchange amongst each other before the letters go out. Because the location should be somewhat agreed upon before the letters go out.
Yes.
Obviously, that's more important than.
You'll be able to
getting the
get that
letters.
done in a week, you think?
Oh, yeah. That's
Okay,
the
great.
piece of
So then
cake.
next
It's
week we can have
Can
the
we set a
letter.
date then? Are we talking like the week of the 27th for these letters to go out?
Yeah.
Last week in August?
Yes, yeah. I think they need to go
All
out
right.
sooner rather than later.
I will have the plan to you by Tuesday, Wednesday next week, let's say.
Great.
And then then Kim, basically after the committee blesses it, then you're good to go.
Yeah, and there's no reason now you could start a mail merge now or whatever you need to do to get all the.
I'd like to start
You
them
can-
out in the mail the 24th.
Yeah, but you could start now and at least getting the envelopes ready for
I'll
stuff.
have it
Yeah,
ready.
I can kind of give you the general limits. We can talk about this over the phone.
So
right?
we're waiting for
Since-
him to just do what he needs to do, but is your letter good to go?
The letter needs to be revised slightly because it's only referring to South Main Street at the
Yes,
moment.
I will make those changes to
Okay.
incorporate north and to reference the map, which the letter doesn't reference. So other than
All right,
that,
then you'll be. able
I'll get
to-
that to you
Tuesday,
tomorrow.
Wednesday next
Yeah.
week or whatever? Okay.
yes. All right, so that's it for rumble strips, right? Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
COA, just briefly, as I guess only someone who's following local governance on a daily basis would know about the recent efforts of Trenton to take all of our local money in connection with our efforts and municipalities really across the state to preserve what is rightfully municipal funds. In brief, the state asked for, I don't know how far I can go with this. They asked, I'm just going to say, they asked for an affidavit to be signed by the mayor. It was determined under advice of council to be an inappropriate request. We responded in a manner under advice of council that we believed was more appropriate and in accord with the law. And as it has subsequently turned out, based upon an appellate decision last Friday.
We were wrong, right?
What?
We were right and they were wrong.
Correct. The appellate division has confirmed in a published opinion that the advice that our council had given is now the law. So yes, so our response prior to the decision has been already determined to have been correct. So the affidavit that they asked for was inappropriate. So good thing that we have competent legal counsel. So that was sent out. The other issue that came up though, and it really is a problem. Unfortunately, once again, our fiscal house in COA matched the fiscal house of the township in terms of it was in and still is really not in the best of shape. And there is a discrepancy, a significant discrepancy, and under the law there are significant legal consequences for not having the COA trust fund balanced exactly to the penny.
Can I ask a question on this? Because it was balanced when Grace left.
It was not balanced.
It was balanced.
It was not
It
balanced.
was balanced, so I'd like to understand what discrepancy we're talking about and when it was found. It was balanced when Grace
Okay.
left.
That is your statement that it was
That's
balanced.
correct.
And so that the residents understand. Our auditor has confirmed it is not balanced.
As of what time frame?
Kim, is our trust fund balanced?
As of what time frame?
Is our
Grace
trust?
left in November 2011.
2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011.
We're not balanced, correct?
Yeah.
Because there was no reconciliation whatsoever until Grace established
The
reconciliation.
problem is you continue to rely upon someone who has been documented to be completely
I'll
and
wait.
wholly incompetent.
I'll wait for the audit report because we haven't
Okay.
seen the audit report yet. So the fact that we're talking about audit findings without us having seen an audit report, I think it's inappropriate.
We have no report, and
It's
if you would let me
inappropriate.
finish before you interjected inaccurate information. This is COA. As I was saying before I was interrupted, we have a situation where the COA trust funds were kept in disarray and a mess, as our former CFO kept the township records in a mess. And while we are continuing, and we've made great strides in cleaning up the mess that was left with respect to township finances, we now need to do the same with respect to COA. And by the way, we have been, regardless of what you say, Tanya, the state has directed us to clean it up because it is contrary to what you said. It is officially confirmed by the state that we don't have a.
I would like
so,
to take
again,
a look at this too, Joe.
I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish without
And so
interruption.
am I.
If you need to take a break, we can adjourn the meeting. You can collect yourself, and we can come back.
I'm collected, trust me.
Okay, then I'd like to finish uninterrupted. What we need to do, because it is beyond Kim's ability to do this, I believe we need to have our auditor prepare a complete audit and to attempt to reconcile the mess that has been left so we can get our COA fiscal house in order.
Isn't that what he was hired to do? For the
No.
$19,000 a year to do a
No,
complete audit?
No,
Of
that's
all of
for
our
our,
finances?
that's not for COA.
Well, I
And
hope
you
we're
should
not
know.
paying him extra money for a co-op.
I'm actually going to make a motion for that, and it would come out of COA funds. So that is what I'm going to ask tonight, that this township committee vote on having our auditor, who did such a great job in cleaning up the mess that you left for the last 2 years, and Bruce Williams left, and Grace Brennan left. I'm also going to make a motion that he do the same job in cleaning up the COA mess.
Well, aren't we paying him that with the extra $25,000
No,
to put in the
that's-
budget?
did you-
Above and beyond the $19,000?
Did you read the contract?
I read the contract.
Tanya, you were mayor how long?
2 years.
You should know that COA has separate funds, and it would be
I
inappropriate to
understand that.
use taxpayer. You just suggested that it come out of the
What I'm
$25,000.
suggesting is,
What I'm
when an
suggesting is
auditor
we
is
comply
hired
with the
for a
law.
financial audit, it includes a complete financial audit.
No.
And he put in a contract for $19,000. The fact that you budgeted an extra $25,000 for the auditor, Joe and Elaine, is inappropriate. The fact that you say that he didn't understand the scope of the work is inappropriate, because when he bid the work, he should have understood the scope of the work.
How could
Which-
you with the mess that was?
No, no, no.
There's no mess, Elaine.
No.
You've been on the committee for about 10, 12 years.
What's inappropriate is for you
No.
to continue to be disingenuous and demagogue
No, I'm
the
not going to
issue.
sit here and let you denigrate the last CFO the way you continue to do it.
Well, facts speak for
The fact that
themselves.
the auditor needs more work is fine. I'm not voting for it.
Okay, well then, you know what then, really, we don't have to have the
Exactly.
conversation anymore. I make a motion to authorize Robert, and you know, before I
Residents
make
should
a-
be questioning your
No.
integrity.
That's
what they should be questioning.
The residents should question yours, because you continue to talk about
No.
the auditor and the taxpayers
We
paying.
haven't seen any audit report yet, Joe, yet you're discussing co-op audits.
No, I'm gonna be heard on this, and I'm gonna be heard without interruption, and if you interrupt again, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting, I'm gonna let you collect yourself.
I'm collected. You need to collect yourself.
A motion to adjourn the
No,
meeting
no,
for 5
motion to
minutes.
recess.
A motion to recess.
I'll make the motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Carries it. 5-minute recess for you to collect yourself.
Now you better collect yourself. Can you turn the,
I'm getting up.
this is ridiculous. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Disconnect.